You are listening to Imperfect Fifth, a podcast, offbeat conversations with music industry humans that we love. Today's episode is brought to you by Easy Visibility. Let Aaron Zimmerman be your visibility guide and visual storyteller, currently serving entrepreneurs globally. And by Double Take Productions. We have no tagline, we're just twins who have been taking photos, shooting and editing film, event planning, and more together since 2010. Today, we're lucky enough to speak with our guest, Kirsten Carey of Throwaway, for episode number 1 of Imperfect Fifth. What was the first song or album that you remember ever hearing, and does that work of art have any influence on how you approach your music today?
I feel like it probably would have been something by the Beatles. I don't know what I first remember hearing, though. I know the first concert I went to was a Tito Puente concert.
Nice.
And I was like really little. I was like maybe like 4. And I definitely think that just like, that opened me up to new possibilities and such, of course. But yeah, first album probably would have been something by the Beatles, like, I don't know, Yellow Submarine or something. Cause my dad is like a Beatles mega fan. So like around the house, there was just like all this Beatles paraphernalia, and, you know, we had every single Beatles album and listened to it all the time. And he used to try to convince me that the Beatles were John, Paul, George, Ringo, and Daddy.
How cute.
Yeah, it was a cute childhood thing. So, I mean, yeah, having that kind of early Beatles fandom, like, definitely influenced me and like my tastes, and I think definitely kind of drew me to the guitar early, even though I wouldn't start playing it for until ages after that, but kind of like put guitar music in my ear. And I feel like hearing George Harrison's guitar solos before like Jimmy Page or like some of those more like stereotypically shreddy dudes, I think really impacted me as well, because I don't really play like the shreddy dudes. I like how George Harrison always just like, his solos were just like kind of melodic. It just showed that virtuosity wasn't always about like playing a bunch of notes, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And also I think it, like having the Beatles catalog in my ear early on, kind of, cause yeah, like it's so diverse, you know? I think it kind of like opened my ear up, to like different possibilities from early on, musically speaking.
Absolutely. That had to be such a fun atmosphere to grow up in too, just to have that around you so early and so often.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in general, where I want to go now, from there, just to establish you a little bit. I know that I've been kind of following your work, since I, wrote about the Milk Song video back when I was at Impose, and, now you've got a debut album on the way this year. You've got a ton of different projects in the works, and I kind of want to go back to the start real fast here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what got you into music, and how did this musical project get started? What was all that like for you?
Well, I mean, the album that like really got me like wanting to be a musician, was Demon Days by Gorillaz.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was a huge one for me. It was like a very life-changing album, in so many ways. But after that, I was already playing the guitar a little bit, but I was mostly playing saxophone in like band and stuff at school, you know?
Yeah.
So after that, I started taking guitar more seriously and like trying to get better at that and like experimenting with writing my own songs and stuff, which sort of just like built and built until I decided I wanted to go to college for music, and I ended up going to the University of Michigan, and I was in their jazz program actually, because
Nice.
yeah, it was the kind of thing. It's like my guitar teacher in high school was like, I mean, yeah, like we could like learn how to like, keep doing blues soloing, and that's great. But like, if you want to learn how to like really like dig in and like understand like music theory and like more kind of like different ways of soloing, then we should like start digging into jazz. And I was like, oh, this is neat. I did that for 4 years, and kind of my sophomore year of college, I got more into like free jazz and experimental music and improvisation than like shooby-dooby stuff.
Yeah.
And that definitely set me off in a certain direction, so that like by the time I graduated, I was sort of feeling these like more experimental things, and was also feeling like after my degree, I was feeling some amount of like burnout and disillusionment, and this sort of like, oh God, I've just gotten this degree that like won't get me a job.
Right?
Like, what do I do? Like at that point in time, I like made the like discovery of, California by Mr. Bungle, Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus, and just the Talking Heads catalog. And
Yes.
all that kind of cooked together along with my frustration and post-college disillusionment, to make Throwaway. Like the summer after I graduated is when I first like came up with the name and the concept of the paper bag mask. And it's sort of just been snowballing ever since.
I'm proud of that. Good for you.
Thank you.
Do you find that people normally ask you questions about the mask, or like, is it something that's just kind of like understood and you're chill with it, whatever?
No, people definitely ask questions. I mean, like the question I get most often is like, we'll play a show and then it'd be like, I thought you were going to play in the mask. I'm like, I mean, I can't see if I play in the mask. So, I mean, recently, to address that question, we've started doing our sets with live visuals. So there's kind of like little.
That's really fun.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I want to like shoot more little films and diversify so that people aren't just seeing the same thing over and over. Basically, it's like there will be like just kind of like loops for the songs, but then there are like these little weird movies that happen, like minute-long little skits sort of, at the beginning, and then we have these 2 hide and seek little films that play at some point in the show, and then we have like an outro. And I was doing that because it was getting to the point where it's like, okay, like the paper bag mask needs to be in the show somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we play live, just to connect everything. But it felt like I thought really hard about like, do I want to start playing with it? But I felt that it was this twin thing of practicality, because it's really hard to see my guitar neck.
Right. Yes.
When I am
Common
wearing
sense
that.
things. Yes.
And also just like eye contact with the drummer, because there's all these kind of like crazy acrobatic things that, we need to lock in on. I felt like the quality of the show would go down musically if I played in a paper bag mask.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I know fans don't really assess all the time the technicality that goes into everything, and so it's totally understood. Whatever.
Totally. The other thing though, that was kind of like the big, for me, like the real reason is I sort of just realized that like I didn't want this character to be tangible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I kind of came up with her as like a reaction to just me feeling really uncomfortable about how bands have to present themselves in marketing, you know, like band photos and like, you know, looking like a certain way and having that like be something that your band's assessed by. And I just felt uncomfortable with that. And I was like, well, how, like, what's the most tongue-in-cheek way I can possibly skirt around this issue? Like, oh, let's like make this character that's like a paper bag for a face, and she is the face of this band, like the main character, the logo, whatever. And I think kind of like from there, it's become this thing where she's just sort of this like intangible, like cyber presence, you know? And I think like as a fan of animation and Gorillaz and stuff like that, I think there's a lot of power in having this character that you feel a connection with, but that you can never touch. There's kind of like an allure there, like a mystery there. So I just didn't want to spoil that by like having her be like just like flesh and body playing the guitar in front of a bunch of people in a bar, you know?
Right.
I thought it was much more interesting to keep her distant.
Well, so when you started doing different visuals and incorporating all of this into your act, was that just something that you decided like, hey, I'm going to do this? Or did you work with people on it? Did you get suggestions? Were there other artists involved? Like, how has all of this come together?
It was sort of like it kind of came out, I was playing a lot of ideas against my partner, Ben Willis, and the album's producer, Lizzie Erickson, and kind of like very slowly over the course of months was like, no, live visuals are the thing to do. And then once I decided that, like, I did a few of them myself. Yeah, I ended up editing everything myself too. And I have a background in sound effects editing. Like I worked as a sound effects editor in LA for 2 years basically.
Wow.
So I did I did the sound effects editing on like the short films and stuff. But like to shoot it, Ben helped me out a lot, and I called in my friends Maddie Rager and Scott Crandall, who are amazing performers, and they were around for a lot of the shooting things and gave advice and tidbits and threw cardboard boxes at me at one point. And,
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And my friend James Weber also made some pixel art that you can presently see as our Facebook banner too. That's serving as some of the like backing like song visual loops. So, and cool. I think Ben is gonna animate something for us too. So, yeah, bringing in a few people.
Constantly evolving there.
Hey. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to be like, oh, cool. Like I have these amazing friends with these skills, and now I can like bring them in and like ask their opinions and get them involved. And I like, because Throwaway is essentially a solo project, but the more I can make it not just me doing things, the better, I think.
Well, and that makes me wonder as well. And I know, we had briefly talked about this beforehand, but I now know you're from Chicago originally, born and raised. Didn't know if you thought that had any bearing on the way that you create your music or the kind of sound you aim for with this project.
Interesting. I think kind of how I create music kind of comes from this place of like, so like my mother, since about when I was like 11 or 12, has been just a crippling alcoholic. And so when I was a teenager, I spent just like a lot of time like closed up in my room with my guitar, like playing and writing songs and trying to kind of like angstily work out how tough that stuff was, by like songwriting. And that's sort of just how I started songwriting, was just like, you know, guitar and come up with a chord progression or whatever, and then come up with a melody and then write words to the melody and kind of take it from there. And like, that's still how I write. Like,
Really?
yeah, I still do guitar first, almost always. There have been recently, very, very recently, a few exceptions where I've come up with words and melody first, and I'm like attempting to backtrack that, and I'm actually finding that really hard to like be like, well, how can I make guitar fit this? I don't know.
Because organically for you, it's the opposite way. I totally understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. No, I've wondered about that, and I've asked people that question before, like, what's your process like? And almost no one ever has like a concrete process that's mostly what they go by. And when I write, I always start with lyrics and then work my way backwards, but I'm not great at the instrumental part, so that's why I have to start there. But you have like both down, and you still have a pretty succinct way of doing it. I'm just impressed by that.
I mean, you know, it's sort of, you know, it's a blessing and a crutch, you know, to like, when in these situations where you do get a melody and like lyrics and you're excited, and then you're just like, oh God, I don't know how to do this. And I just feel very self-conscious, and it just takes, well, all recently sort of the first couple Throwaway songs I wrote very quickly, but the more recent stuff has definitely been way more laborious, where it'll just sort of be like over like little sessions, I'll like kind of come up with like, oh, here's a nugget, like this is what this could go into, and like whatever. And then I'll just have like a whole day where I'm just like, all right, now I have to stitch this thing together into like an actual song. And then, you know, it'll be like, I'll like get all the transitions down and like play it for myself and like record it so I can like reference it and like bring it to the drummer and like be like, wow, all this day's work, how long is that song? And it'll be like 2 minutes and 41 seconds. I'll be like, no!
Oh man, I am sorry.
So just, it's Throwaway songs tend to be short, not for lack of work.
You're going to be releasing your debut album this year. And
Yes.
so I just didn't know at what step in the process you're at, if you could speak to it or tell us anything about like personal anecdotes from the recording process or anything like that.
So basically we've had, the recordings have been done, Jesus, like for about a year actually. It's just been this pretty slow process of mixing, and giving notes, and a lot of it has been sort of just like hampered up by us trying to figure out when is the best to release it and how to release it and all that sort of like boring businessy stuff.
Of course.
But I think I'm like, we're all sort of at this point where it's like, oh, let's just get this thing out. Cause there is this debate too, cause we have a ton of material. But we have a bunch of stuff that was recorded kind of like October 2016. And then a bunch of stuff that was recorded like February 2017.
Holy.
And after kind of like working with those things for the past year, at some point, Lizzie, my producer, and I sort of realized like, we don't have one big album. We have like an album and an EP. Because the two things sound so different. Just in like the material itself and how it was recorded and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then there's just been this thing where, like, I asked William Hudson from Clipping if he would be down to, like, put some, like, kind of tape distortion noise over it, one of the songs. And he was down, and then it took him like 5 months to get me the thing, and then it took us like 5 months to arrange it.
Oh no.
So it's just been like this like constant, you kind of realize, like, when you're in school, things happen so quickly, because everyone's there just to do music. But then the second you step into the real world and, like, people are, like, have other things to do in their lives, just, like, the amount of time and effort it takes to just get a simple thing done is just so
It's true,
expanded. But I think we're gonna aim to get the album out, I think, but I want it out by the spring. And I think we're gonna self-release it. And then the EP probably in the fall. I think it's going to be the goal. Because, yeah, we're touring Japan in November. So that's an exciting thing that's happening. Oh, yeah.
When did that pop up for you?
I just got this giant travel voucher from American Airlines. Cause they messed up really bad, as they're wont to do. So,
yeah, well, of course.
I had, it was a $1,500 voucher. So I was like, well, I'm using this to go to Japan. What if I just, like, have it be a tour for my band?
That's so great. What a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. And I just, like, reached out to a couple bands and was sort of like, is this feasible? Can you help us out if we did this? And people were like, yeah. So, yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be a blast.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that kind of stems off as well. You just said you're excited, and one of my questions was, what are you most excited about with this release? Like, what either about this body of music or about fan reactions? What about the whole process are you most excited about?
I mean, I think at this point, when you sit on something for this long, there's definitely a part of you that's just like, it needs to be released. I need to get this out. So I'm just excited for that catharsis, for one. But it's also just like, I continually kind of have this feeling, because we had this previously recorded stuff, but it, like, the quality of this new recording, like, it sounds amazing. Like, Lizzie has done an impeccable job mixing everything, and it sounds just so much fuller and just full of life. And, it's the kind of thing where, like, I listen to it and I'm just like, this sounds like an actual thing I would listen to, like, that I want as like a music fan. I'm just really proud of it.
Good.
So it's exciting to have something, and sort of like, cause like, as I've kind of continued to, like, pass around these, like, kind of outdated singles now, I'm like, oh man, you don't know what we have in store for you, but it sounds so much better than this. You don't know our potential yet.
Oh, that's so awesome though, to have that in your back pocket. Like, I know something you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're hoping to release a single, like, kind of a teaser single, hopefully next month. So hopefully there will be a little taste very soon of, like, what people can expect.
That is so exciting. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, then this is perfect timing to be talking to you about everything.
Yeah.
No, I so greatly appreciate you doing this with me.
I mean, I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I do, want to know, just off kilter, because I am going to be talking about some weird shit basically on this podcast moving forward. But I was thinking about your pop culture, saying that you're into weird pop culture stuff, and I didn't know to what extent. Like, do you watch like weird trashy TV? Do you what's the weirdest pop culture-y thing that you're into, lady?
Weirdest. So I'm a gigantic animation buff. And that's actually like writing about like cartoons and anime and video games is actually my day job.
That's so awesome. Are you kidding me? Tell us more. Tell us more.
I write for this YouTube channel called Frederator. And I'm like, for example, like I'm a gigantic, Legend of Zelda fan. And
oh my God. Yes.
To the extent where me and a couple friends actually are launching this new Legend of Zelda cover band called the Seven Sages. We're 5 people.
That's okay.
Yeah. I personally really like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like somehow this Frederator picked up on my brainwaves, and like recently I wrote like a history of video game music from the point of view of the Zelda theme song for them. I just finished writing a chronology of the Legend of Zelda timeline, which was actually exceedingly difficult. So
that's involved. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, that one was intense. So yeah, it's good to like turn my bad habits into cash. I appreciate that about that.
Bad habits, amazing like artsy hobbies is what it is. Jeez, I don't know what you're talking about.
I recently, you can see on your Nintendo Switch, for better or for worse, I found out that they tell you how much time you've spent playing certain titles.
Oh, what?
And I apparently played Breath of the Wild for 155 hours.
Oh my, that's dedication though, I look at that as hard work, and maybe it's paying off for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We all have our hobbies. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
At least yours is like mildly productive, and you're transforming it into something like fun and lucrative. Jeez.
Right. And
I'm just over here admiring it.
And a cover band.
Exactly.
So
you will have to keep me updated on this. I want nothing but to cover all of this.
Oh man, I will send you our Facebook page that we just launched.
Thank you. Yes. Look at all this exciting news. 2019 is about to be a big, big year for you.
Yeah, for real. It's like kind of became apparent within the first few days. It's like, oh, this is gonna be a big year. Nice. All right.
Nice. Are you feeling calm about it, or a little bit of anxiety?
Oh, I'm definitely
not to like narrow
anxiety.
Hello, how bad do you feel about all of this that's happening? Like,
it was sort of like, especially with like how to release the album, I was like, it's sort of like what happens with Throwaway this year is like, it's this kind of thing. It's like, who knows what's going to happen, but we're poised for exciting things to happen, but it kind of depends on like how well I play these kind of cards that 2018 dealt me. Like being on that Rick and Morty track and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
no big deal. Like, yeah. Just being on Rick and Morty, it's fine.
Whatever. But yeah, it's kind of it's a lot of pressure to put on myself, but I think I'm kind of slowly figuring it out. I did receive a meaningful email, that kind of calmed me down, that I don't know if I should talk about. I don't know if I can talk about that, but, I was sort of like, yes, self-release, good idea, hooray! After my meaningful email that I received.
So much vagueness. Now we're all just clamoring to know, but you know, we can leave some mystery out on the table. That's fine too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year.
All the different endings of the earth that you've seen on TV and in pop culture and on anime and in cartoons and all that jazz.
Uh-huh.
Which one do you think is going to be the one that is our ultimate downfall?
Oh
I mean, you can get goofy here. We don't have to be too political and scary because some of the things are so real right now that I'm like,
oh yeah,
maybe not touch on that, but you know.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't played Fallout, but I feel like Fallout is, like, actually feasible by this point. But I don't want to say that, because that's not fun.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. Oh, golly. I'm thinking of, like, the anime. I know I've seen more end of the world stuff than, like, this, but have you ever seen Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I have not. Tell me about it.
Oh golly. It's coming onto Netflix, I think in April or something. So, keep your eye out, cause it's this anime from the 90s, maybe mid 90s, by this guy, Hideaki Anno, who for a long time worked as, one of the at Studio Ghibli as one of Miyazaki's favorite sons. So he worked on Nausicaa Valley of the Wind and a bunch of those movies, and then branched off to start his own thing, and then became wildly depressed and wrote Evangelion, which is the show that's at first you think it's gonna be like a Gundam thing, so big fighting robot things, but then it's just entirely about various characters' anxieties and depressions and hang-ups, as the world is just crumbling around them via giant horrifying things that are mysteriously called angels. And I feel like that, yeah, maybe that's gonna be something like that. Just horrifying otherworldly things attacking, and just everyone is, thinking about, their spurned lovers or whatever.
It probably will be like that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Visual. Hey,
it's much deeper than just the spurned lovers. I don't know why I said that.
We'll keep it surface level. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any other big plans today?
Today, I have to upload to YouTube. Throwaway starting this little video series, that I'm calling Vid Ditties.
Oh.
That are just I wrote these quick 1 minute songs just by myself, and Ben and I shot a ton of video, and I've just been sort of matching songs to video and seeing what happens, and the results are just these really weird, surreal, 2-minute things. So I finished the second one yesterday, and it'll come out tomorrow. So I have to upload that. And then my friend is taking me to a really depressing World War I movie, that I guess Peter Jackson did.
Oh.
Compiled. It's a documentary of newly recovered footage, or newly restored footage. She sold it to me in such a way that I was like, sure, I guess I'll go with you to that. So yeah.
Sounds interesting at the very least.
Yeah, I'm not really a war movie person, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I can't imagine that of you, but try new things. Why not?
Yeah, why not? We'll learn some stuff. We'll get depressed. It'll be great. It's right by, the movie theater is right by, it's in, like, near the Asian market and by, like, a Japanese place and a faux place. So I'm kind of like, well, if we're gonna go see some depressing World War I movie, maybe we should get some faux.
The upper will be our foe. Yes, absolutely. What a weird and poetic sentence I didn't think would be a thing. All right, well.
It's beautiful.
Now that I've embarrassed myself adequately, is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we peace out here?
No, just, Throwaway will be doing stuff on the social medias. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/therealthrowaway, ditto Instagram. So, you can follow us there, if you want to look at that. And also check out the 7 Sages, because that's another thing I'm doing this year that I'm really freaking excited about. So yeah.
Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with me today. I hope the rest of your day goes swimmingly.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be among the first on this podcast.